Hi, I'm Melanie Alvarado, and I will be discussing two questions pertaining to Chapter 6 of our textbook. First, I'll discuss why the Washington Monument strategy is misleading. Then, I will explain if total utility can increase while marginal utility decreases. Let's get started. In economics, there's a concept called diminishing marginal utility, which basically means the more you do something, the less satisfaction you get from it every time you do it. An example we had in class was cups of coffee. The first cup of coffee you drink, it tastes amazing. You have the most satisfaction from it. But as you drink more coffee in the day, if you're a coffee drinker, the more you drink coffee and the more you drink coffee, every time you drink a cup of coffee, after every single cup, you feel less satisfaction. Politics, when the government faces budget cuts, they often use a strategy called the Washington Monument strategy. It's when they close something very popular and something very visible, like the Washington Monument, to make the budget cut seem like a big deal. The reaction they're looking for is that people will complain so much and it would gain so much publicity that they won't have to cut anything else. But this is misleading. Here's why the Washington Monument strategy is misleading. According to diminishing marginal utility, the more people see or use something like the monument, the less value it has for them over time. So cutting something with high visibility doesn't save money or make sense when it comes to budget cuts. Instead, they should cut things with low utility, things that don't bring satisfaction or value. So the Washington Monument strategy might use emotions to make things look worse than they are. But from an economic standpoint, it's not the best way to save money. Now, let's talk about total utility and marginal utility. Total utility is the overall satisfaction you get from doing something. Back to the coffee example. Your total utility is the total amount of satisfaction you got from drinking your first coffee all the way down to your last coffee, whether that's 5th, 6th, or 7th. Your marginal utility is the satisfaction you got in between cup 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down until you have zero satisfaction. So now, to answer the question on how total utility can increase even though marginal utility decreases, back to the coffee situation. During your first cup of coffee, you felt a load of satisfaction. Let's say that satisfaction was 20 utility. 30 minutes later, after working so hard, you drink another cup of coffee to keep you going. But now, your utility for that cup of coffee is 15. And then 30 minutes later, you drink another cup of coffee, not recommended. But now, your utility decreased a little bit more. It's 10 now. Okay, and let's say you were going to go for a 4th and 5th coffee, which most people wouldn't. And the reason why is because it's not as satisfying anymore. But your total utility keeps going up because you're still drinking cups of coffee, even if you're not feeling as satisfied as the last cup. Also, an example from the textbook would be Jose. I'll put it right here, where we were trying to use his budget of $56 to buy t-shirts or movies and figure out how much he should spend on t-shirts and how much he should spend on movies. And you can see how, although marginal utility decreases, his total utility increases. In class, we figured out that he gets the highest utility when he buys 1 t-shirt and 6 movies. I'll put it right here. So, to sum it up, the Washington Monument strategy is misleading because it cuts things that won't save the most money. Instead of cutting things with low utility, they cut things with high utility, which from an economic standpoint isn't a smart decision. And yes, total utility can increase even though marginal utility is decreasing. For listening.